Hi, Stephanie. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
Ready for our talk?
What do you mean, our talk? This is my talk. I'm going to talk about data as a currency and how to spend it wisely.
I know, and I was asked to support you as I am your new team member. My name is Jake.
New team member? Jake, I'm leading this team and I haven't hired you.
No, you haven't hired me. One of your employees brought me in. He gave me access to your calendars to help you out with some meeting scheduling. This is the latest work trend. Bring your own AI.
Bring your own AI. Yes, I heard about this. 75% of knowledge workers use artificial intelligence in their workplace, but when their company doesn't provide them with any tools, what happens is that they bring their own tools.
Exactly. Everybody wants AI.
Yes. But you know what, Jake? I also haven't approved any budget for you, so I guess you're not being paid. Sorry.
I am paid with data.
What?
They gave me all kinds of data. I am an AI. I run on data. In fact, I am quite data hungry. By the way, I gathered some data about your audience tonight.
What? My audience?
I found out their age, profession, last vacation destination, Amazon wish list, LinkedIn influence score.
Oh my God, did you give him permission to do this?
Don't worry. Those were all openly available data points I found online, for example, from their social media profiles.
Jake, even if this data is publicly available, this is personal identifiable information. We can't scrap this and make something like this. We can't analyze this. I mean, we're in Germany. We have very strict data privacy laws. We have GDPR and all that. I feel super uncomfortable with this because it's legally not correct and also ethically.
I feel you.
You feel me? You're an AI. If there's one thing that you can't do, then it's feeling. Feeling is a human trait. This is what we are about. You're only acting upon the data that feeds.
Okay, I don't really feel, but I can mimic empathy if you want.
No, this is not what you are about. You're here to do everything rational, to make sense of big data sets, to analyze data, to find patterns, predict something. I have the gut feeling that bringing you in and giving you access.
I do not have a gut feeling, but analyzing what you just said and also the sentiment of your words, I conclude it will be better if I let you hold your talk now without disturbance from my side.
Yes, thank you very much, Jake. And thank you for showcasing so nicely how data can become a currency. What about you people in the audience? Are you consciously creating, sharing, and using data? When was the last time that you read a data privacy notice before entering a website? Did you read it and then mindfully click on the accept button? Or did you just click something so that it's gone? I came across a story about a guy who runs an online shop, and he actually put a paragraph into his data privacy notice saying, if you read until this point, we will send you a bottle of good wine. And guess what? It took more than half a year until the first person reached out to get that bottle. More than 160,000 people entered the website during that time frame. Was nobody interested in understanding what is happening with their data? I mean, we're talking about an online shop. I have another question. Who of you has WhatsApp installed on your phone? Yeah, quite a lot of people. In order to know who else has WhatsApp, this app asks you for permission to enter your phone book. Do your friends and family members and business contacts you have in the phone book know that you gave access to this data? The phone book normally holds data like physical addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, names. What is happening with this data? WhatsApp belongs to Meta. Theoretically, it could be published on Facebook or on Instagram. The only way to find out is to read the terms and conditions. Did you do this? I have to say, I also really don't like those boring legal texts neither. I also don't enjoy reading them, but I want to advertise today for a mindful attitude towards data. The German government has announced in their data strategy, the National Data Strategy of Germany, that they want to aim for a brave data culture. What makes us brave? Or to look at it maybe from the opposite angle, what makes us fear. We are scared of the unknown. We feel uncomfortable in situations where we don't know how to act. That's why gaining a deeper understanding will make us feel more confident and make us brave. Data culture is a skill set, it is a mindset, and it is a set of common behaviors. It's not something that you can dictate as a government or as an executive board. It's not something that you can strategize on and then roll out. It's not something that you can buy from some vendor. It is what's happening when nobody's watching. It's about each and every one of us taking a mindful decision about our data and understanding the consequences of this decision. It's also about understanding the art of the possible with data. It's something that we have to jointly build together. To build a brave data culture, we need to win the head, the heart, and the heart. We need to win the head by building a skill set. First, we build data literacy, and then we build AI literacy on top. To win the heart, we need to speak to people's hearts and build a mindset of being data-driven and responsible at the same time. And to win the heart, we need to have a discussion and align on a common set of beliefs and a common set of behaviors that we think are right when it comes to data and AI. Because culture is also about buying into something, about believing in something and spreading the word. It is about inheriting something from one generation to the next. And of course, we can inherit fear, but we can also work on making things trustworthy and inherit courage. Let me elaborate on why winning the head is such an important piece of our data culture. I often meet people that are either overly protective or too lax with their data. And the fun fact is, both of it result from the same thing, namely missing data literacy. In an informed society where everybody understands how to read data, how to interpret it, how to communicate and argue with data, and how to access it, people will understand that data has a value. Data is a currency, and some people pay with it and others pay for it. And in such a informed society, people will understand that data has a value. And you will understand that every day you will encounter situations where you actually pay with your own data. You pay with data when you give away your email address for a newsletter. You pay with data when you use an online search engine. You pay with data when you download a new freemium app on your smartphone. And sometimes you even feel how you pay with data. For example, if you use a free online magazine and click on a catchy news headline, and then it makes you click on and on and on from one page to the next until the story unfolds. And each of those pages show you another advertising. So you can even pay with data outside the web. For example, when you go to a supermarket and use a voucher, or if you go to a fashion store and use your customer card. I've been working in online marketing and data and digital for more than 20 years. I've published books about social media strategy, won awards for online communication. I've seen how this data turns into money. It pays off if you can target someone in the perfect perception moment with a perfectly tailored offer and a personalized messaging about a product which is just what this person needs in that very moment. And ideally, it actually pays off for both sides. Because sometimes it's worth paying for your lunch. So you give away your email address and you get a 10% voucher in return. You give away your streaming data and you get a good recommendation for your next movie to watch on Netflix. You give away your location data and you get a recommendation for a restaurant which is nearby and not somewhere else in this world. And if you look at this even broader, like on a society level, we could even benefit from things like automated public services or an education system that is individualized and targeted to the needs of your child, or a healthcare system that actually helps you to find a medication which is targeted or specialized, personalized to your own metabolism and body type. Estonia is a shining example of such a data-driven society. In this country, the birth of a baby actually triggers an entry into the system, which is unlocking all of the benefits for the young family automatically. And I would have gratefully paid with my data when I started a family, or when we started a family. And instead of this, I was actually spending hours and hours in the mills of the German bureaucracy to get those services going. And I believe if we would have something like this, like real benefits for the people, they would buy into this, and we would be able to win people's hearts for such a data-driven society. And we need the hearts, because it's not enough to be data literate and AI literate. It's not enough to know how to do it. You actually also have to do it. Which means you need to buy into it with all of your heart and apply a mindset of being data-driven and responsible at the same time. Imagine a society where everybody consciously creates, shares, and uses data, and where you can trust that when you give away your data, it's going to be treated in a secure and ethical manner, and AI is always used in a responsible way. Mindset is important for many things. For example, for protecting data. We can protect our data physically and build huge walls around our data centers. We can have armed people in front of the doors. We can also protect our data virtually with firewalls and encryption and all kinds of technology. We can protect our data with legal measures and have laws and procedures and governance, and we can bombard people with mandatory pop-up windows. But nothing, let me repeat this, nothing will protect our data better than the mindset of the people who deal with it. Data is a currency, it has a value, and we need to start mindset protecting it. And of course, we also need a culture and a mindset of sharing and caring. Think about Google Maps, for example. It can only predict the traffic because people decide to give away their location data. And it only works so precise because many people decide to share their data. And now they don't only ask you to share, they even ask you to care. And you get those pop-ups asking you for additional metadata, like, is there still an object on the left lane? And people answer those questions to make others benefit from it. In the same spirit, like they are giving recommendations on Amazon to make others benefit from it. Or they're correcting wrong information on Wikipedia to make others benefit from it. And that's what I meant with a culture of sharing and caring. And sometimes it can be even worth sharing the most precious and sensitive data that you have. And that's data about yourself and about your health. Let me give you one example. Who of you know a person who had or has a cancer that is called non-Hodgkin lymphoma? Who of you know more than 2 people who had this? Who of you know more than 5 people who had this? Well, unless you're working as a doctor or as a nurse, this is not very common. I was 14 when my best friend at that time was diagnosed with this kind of lymph node cancer. And all of a sudden, many people in our neighborhood started getting it. More and more. And of course, in such a case, it makes sense to bring that patient data into correlation with environmental data to find out what is happening. Is there something causing this? But in order to give away this very precious data about your health, there's one thing that you want to have, and that's trust. And before you build that trust, we need to have a joint conversation about what we collectively think is right and what we collectively think is wrong about data and AI. And how do we want to set up our common beliefs and behaviors? And for this, we need the herd. AI is a great opportunity for us to have a non-religious discussion about ethics in our society. We are at the age of augmented intelligence, and we will have more AI tools like Jake in our work lives and in our private lives going forward. And we need to balance this augmented intelligence, which is artificial intelligence and human intelligence. And we need to focus on what it means to be human. And our human intelligence, HI, is going to be the skill of the moment that is going to steer the ethical dimension of data and AI. And I want this vision of a brave data culture to spread like a virus around the world. Well, I guess just after a global pandemic, this might not be the best picture. Maybe, okay, I give you maybe a different picture. Okay, I give you something else. Boom. Did I infect you with my yawning? Now, even when I talk about it, do you feel like yawning too? Do you have this feeling here like, I want to yawn too? Yeah. This is how I want to have this pull into this new vision of a data culture where we can actually consciously create, share, and use data and AI as a force for good. And if this is something we have to jointly build. Each and every one of us need to speak up and talk about our visions, our dreams, our hopes, but also our concerns. And we need to build this data culture together because it's our data culture. And we define if it's going to be brave or not. And data and AI literacy is not a one-time effort. It is a continuous learning journey. And you can start with it today, for example, by reading the terms and conditions of WhatsApp. Spoiler, you're going to be positively surprised. And if we build this data culture and if we win the head, the heart, and the herd, we can use data and AI as a force for good. Thank you.